Good morning. How are you? Some of you are in the campus and some of you are yet to report. And now we're learning the rules of grammar, which are very important for UPSC GAT English examination. If you're equipped with rules of grammar, definitely you'll do well. In the last session, we have seen some of the rules related to articles and 6 rules of noun. So now we'll go ahead with the rules of noun, and very important rule, that's rule number 7. When we use one of, which appears quite often in the examination, what should follow? What noun should follow? What form it should be of the noun? One of my friends. So not one of my best friend, but it will be always plural form. Friends. The plural form of the common noun you have to use whenever the phrase one of is used. So if of is there, you be sure that you have to use plural form of the noun. Okay, so this rule applies not only for one of, because one of quite often comes in the examination. So not only for one of, so whenever of comes, like some of, each of, either of, neither of, any of, none of, you have to use plural form of a noun. So plural form of the noun has to be used if you use any of these phrases: one of, some of, each of, either of, neither of, any of. Let's see the example. One of my best friends, one of the biggest cities, each of the boys. So each, whenever it comes, it has to be singular form of the verb. Okay. Either of the teachers is. Noun has to be plural, but the verb form has to be singular. Well, we'll go to rule number 8. Nouns indicating numerals should be used in singular form. A dozen eggs. So here nouns indicating numerals. A dozen eggs. A dozen means 1 dozen. 2 dozen oranges. 2 dozen oranges. Now here you see dozen. It is not 2 dozens. It's a 2 dozen oranges. But say hundreds of eggs, hundreds of houses, 100 rupees, 200 rupees. See, 200 rupees, 2 dozen oranges. Remember this. A dozen eggs. So let's go to rule number 9 now. After collective nouns, either a singular or plural form of verb is used. So collective noun, team. So you can use any of these verb forms depending upon what it means. If it's a one unit, then you have to use singular form. But when you are referring to the players of the team are fighting among themselves. So each player, so the players are fighting. The team is strong. You are treating the U team as an unit. So it all depends upon the meaning, what you derive. You got it now? Rule number 9. So let's go to rule number 10. An apostrophe and yes should be used with living beings only to show possession. So it has to be used only with the living beings. Like Ashok's bag, Ashok's pen, but not in the case of non-living things. The table's legs, wrong, because table is non-living thing, and you have to say the legs of the table were broken. The legs of the table were broken. Now this next rule, rule number 11, is a very important rule. Okay, let's go to rule number 11. A 5 rupee note. A 5 rupee note. See, this example quite often comes. Rupee. A 5 rupee note. A 2 mile walk. It's not 2 miles walk. 2 mile walk. Okay. 5 rupee note. 2 mile walk. Very important rule. Okay. Very important rule. A 2-year-old girl. A 2-year-old girl. A 2 mile walk. Don't say family members, cousin brother, or cousin sister, but say the members of the family. Or you have to say cousin. Now let's go to next rule now. Rule number 13. When two nouns are connected by and are closely related, add an apostrophe and s to the last noun. Karina's and Saif's house. So this is a wrong sentence because they are living in the same house. It is not separate. So Karina and Saif's house as they live in a single house. But you can say India's and Pakistan's population because it is referring to two different countries. But here when you are referring them as husband and wife, you have to say Karina and Saif's house. Okay. So let's go to some more rules of noun. So let's see a little bit as far as noun is concerned, very important one because subject is always noun. Okay, so what is noun? All of you know that it's a naming word. And there are 4 or 5 kinds of nouns. A common noun, proper noun, collective noun, abstract noun, material noun, or you can categorize into 4. Common noun, proper noun, common noun, collective noun, and abstract noun. Because material noun can be part of common noun. Well, now here, let us go a little bit deep as far as collective nouns are concerned. So what is collective noun? It's a name of a collection of persons. Or what is abstract noun? It's a name of a quality or idea. Like your beauty, youth, honesty, death. These are the examples of abstract noun. Collective nouns, fleet, flock, audience, class, committee. These are the examples of collective nouns. Now let us go further. Case of a noun. Now here in the case of a case. Now here Mohan is my friend. When we say that Mohan is my friend, it's a subjective case because Mohan is here subject. So you can say nominative case or subjective case. Now here you see who brought this book? Book. Now brought is a verb. After verb what comes? Objective case comes or accusative case comes. Now, in the case of the third example, Mohan's wife. So, possessive case or genitive case. That's a possessive case. Help me, Mohan. Vocative. It's a vocation here. Call is here. Help me, Mohan. So, I hope you have got it now. Or case in opposition, that is, Mohan, the captain of our team, has been rewarded. So, opposition means a placing near just as captain is placed after Mohan. So, it is a kind of descriptive expression not joined by any conjunction. So it's a descriptive expression. So that's why case in apposition. So Mohan, the captain of our team. Already we have seen a number of rules of grammar. Let's have a look at those very important ones. Like you know about this, we already seen advice. So some more examples of similar kind. Like we have seen scenery, poetry, but here some more examples are given there. You can just like machinery, equipment. So these are more examples of this. And here you have seen that these nouns may be used to denote singularity as follows. Like here a word of advice. We use a word of abuse, a word of advice. An act of mischief. So a word of advice was given by the principal. So piece of work, a loaf of bread rather than a piece of bread, you can use loaf of bread. So here now when we come to this, First rule and second rule, they are very, very important. Like your cattle, gentry. So here you see some of those examples we have seen there. Now here in the case of this, it is always plural which is used here. Cattle are. So we are, yes, when these nouns denote members or individuals, the verb is used in plural form. So verb always is used in, so cattle in place of cattle. So it should be cattle are, not cattle are. So it's wrong here. So here majority are in favor. So again here you have to use are. You cannot use is there. Okay. The committee is unanimous. So this example you can just have a look at this. The people of all the countries should work for peace. The average Hindu families in India consists of four members. So the police has become insensitive. The audience were forbidden. The audience was spellbound. So you can just look at that, how it can be done. Okay. The team, when you mean single unit, yes, you are using singular form of the verb. But when you mean it's a separate, this all, the audience way means each of them, they were forbidden to occupy chairs. So the audience was to complete, when you are talking about that as a unit, then in that case you have to use uh, singular form. So you have to remember that when you can use plural form of the verb and singular form of the verb. That's a very important one. We have seen there details. Now here we have seen some examples here in this case. So let's go to now here rule number 3 that is given there. That is offspring, deer, fish, sheep. So here sheeps, we don't use sheeps. We have to use plural form sheep only. So some of these are there where singular and plural form, they are the same. Okay. So we are just hurrying up. We are just trying to revise whatever we have seen earlier with some more examples here in this case. Let's go to some more like here. Diseases, mumps, measles, rickets. They are referring to what? They are referring to one particular one. So singular verb only has to be used. So when you are referring to branch of learning like mathematics, physics, mechanics, then also you have to use singular form of the verb there. So I hope you have got it now. Games and sports where we are using yes, but it is not referring to plural form. It is referring to singular form only. It is referring to one particular game like billiards. It's a one type of game. Aquatics, gymnastics, athletics like that. So it depends upon the meaning also that we get. Like here, Three Musketeers, Gulliver's Travels, Arabian Nights. These are the names, titles of the books. Okay. Some other nouns, inning, series, news. So how it is used, you can go through that. A series of matches is being played. So your use is there. So we quite often commit a mistake here. Measles, it's referring to a disease, though yes is used. So here the measles has broken out in the town. So has is to be there. Politics is a dirty game. Is has to be used. These news. So this news you have to say this news is disappointing. So news it is not referring to so many. It is referring to one particular news here. Now here the summons has been see summons itself we often use we don't summon that becomes a what verb form. Okay, summon if you are using it, summons has been issued or served. A series of matches is being played, a series. From that you can make out that two series of matches. Now where has to be used because two series of matches were played last year. So this is very important on this table. Go through that. Like where when you are using singular form wood, it's a material. But when you are using it's a plural form, woods, it means forest. Now water, again water, then here water sea. Then asset, assets, property is assets. Then sand, sands, land. Iron, irons, chains. Cloth, clothes, dress. Abuse, abuses, misuses. Work, works, literary writings. Artwork, artworks. Ear, ears, behavior. Advice, advices. So custom, customs. So you are using with different meaning here whenever you are using plural form of that. effects, goods. Colors, flags, colors. Fruits, results. Wit, wits, intelligence. Arms, weapons. Arms, when you are referring to what? Your arm, hand, organ, and your arms, weapons. Good, advantage, goods, articles. Okay, you got it now? So when we are using plural form, it has got different meaning there, right? When you are using singular form, it has got different meaning. It is referred to some other things. So here, let's go to the rule number 6. Now your articles of dresses, trousers, breeches, jeans, scissors, spectacles, okay, names of instruments. Some of these nouns are generally used in the plural form with plural verb. So we are using plural form only. My scissors is not sharp, so you have to use are only here. My spectacles are very costly. Okay, so actually we get a lot of confusion whenever singular forms, plural form comes, but you have to be familiar that way how to go about it. So here alms, thanks, proceeds, riches, contains, so orders, refreshments, requirements. Okay, go through the list which is given there. This is a very important. Okay, like your compound noun, numerical plus noun. 10-day tour. This example often comes in the exam. A 10-mile race. A 10-year-old boy. Now here 10-year-old boy. He's 10 years old. A 5 rupee note. 5 foot long room. So remember this example. Okay, because quite often they'll give 10 miles race. 10 year, okay, here this is how it is given here. 10-year-old boy. We are just looking at very important rules only. We are not looking at all those rules which are given here. So let's go to this only use of fraction. 1.5 years are wasted. 1.5 hours are wasted. A year and a half is wasted. We have seen this rule earlier also. An hour and a half is wasted here. Now nouns after preposition is repeated in singular form. Word for word, hour after hour. So if you are using preposition, then it's a singular form. Doer to doer. Okay. Now two adjectives denoting different meanings and qualifying the same noun are considered plural. Cultural and social life in India are changing. Summer and winter vacation are compulsory in our school. So now let's go to the here. This one, let's remember this. So many examples are given here. Just look at these examples. What is given here? Singular form and plural form. Okay. So quite often you commit here. Commander in chief. What is the plural form of commander in chief? It's a commanders. So yes has to be added to the commander. In the case of a compound noun, what is to be done? It has to be added to the first, that's a commander. So you have to add to that. Commanders, not to the chief. Chiefs, no, wrong. So commanders in chief. But if it's a major general, now in the case of that major generals, attorney general, see here. Maid servant, maid servants, looker onlookers, it should be onlookers, it will be not looker on, it will be onlooker. So wrong here. Passerby, passers by, mother-in-law, mothers-in-law, manservant, maid servant, maid servants, woman servant, or maid servant. We use maid servant. A maze, mouse, mice, oxen, datum, data, medium, media. So forum is a singular form. Forums or fora, you can use any of them. Stadium, stadia. Criterion, okay. So singular form of criteria is criterion. Phenomenon, phenomena. Formulae. Plural form of formula is formulae. Okay. Oasis. Difference in the spelling. Lacuna, lacunae. Lacunae pronunciation is also different. Iratum, irata. That's a plural form, irata. Memorandum, memoranda. So you see, many of these words have come from Latin. So that's why we get confused. Alumnus, alumna. So alumnus. So if it's one, then it's alumnus. Where in the case of plural, alumna. Syllabus, syllabi. Addendum, addenda. Okay. So I hope you have learned many of these singular forms and plural forms. A good number of rules related to noun we have seen. In the next session, we'll take up some rules related to pronoun. Thank you. Goodbye.